I'm Irving Spry. Nicholas Spry is my son. But he left Fort Bragg on a Sunday night at 9 o'clock. And they stop over in Spain, and then they fly on into Baghdad. Baghdad's a war zone. When they hit the tarmac, they were loading their weapons. He was in country 2 days, and they got in their first firefight, and he killed 3 people. Those days when there was a bombing on TV, and you'd go to work and you'd wonder all day. That night you get home and turn the news on and find out it was from another outfit. So the first thing you feel is relief that it wasn't you. Then the next incident you feel the same gut feeling that someone else's family is going to get the news, you know.
My name is Beverly Fabry. I'm Nick Spry's mom. I mean, he was only 8 months out of high school. The day he left for Fort Bragg was the first time he had ever driven over the Bay Bridge. He's very proud, yet very ashamed of what he was doing. He knew he was going to do right, but he couldn't get past his mind that killing was wrong. A car pulled up in front of our house at 11:15 at night on Valentine's Day. We were just getting ready to go to bed. And about that time, they walked into the porch light, and I saw a man in his dress uniform. I didn't say anything to him. I just turned around and walked in the house, and I told my husband and Nick's girlfriend, I said, Nick's dead. He's been killed. Tried to tell us what happened, and that was it.
He was 538. The number would be burning your head forever.
Every time I go to his gravesite, something new is added. The day after the prom, there were several corsages, boutonnieres, because I knew that's where they went after the prom. They went to his grave.
I had a bad feeling before he left. He didn't realize how bad it was going to be. If he'd got back alive, he never would be the same person anyway, obviously, because of what he'd seen, what he'd already done.
When I was down at Fort Bragg the day he left, he and I went for a little walk. I told him, I did. I knew in my heart that he was never coming home. He was too gung-ho to do a good job. And I came home and started planning his funeral. I had all his songs planned out. I knew where I wanted him buried. And until I said it out loud to Nick's dad. But when I said it, he said that he had the same feeling. He knew he wasn't coming home.
I used to always ask him, when are we going to get married? He's like, man, calm down sooner or later. Because, he was in Iraq at that time. Then he was like, I've been thinking about a lot with us. And from the tone of the voice and just those little words, I already knew it was coming. And he was like, I don't have long to talk, so I basically just called it to ask you that. And I'm like, yes, I will, okay?
He was a responsible kid. And he always told me when he was young that he was going to take care of me. Now I'm about to cry. He always told me that he was going to take care of me, and no matter what, I was going to be all right in life. He was telling me he had to go to Iraq, and I was telling him to tell them that he was the only son, and he couldn't go. But he told me he signed up and he had to go. And he said, but don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. When he left, it took about 3 months before I heard from him. I called everybody, and they told me if nobody came to my door, everything was going to be all right. And then when they came to my door, I was here by myself. It was the worst feeling of my life. The sergeant came to the door, and he asked for me, and I said, no, you're not here to tell me nothing. And he said, can I come in? I said, no, nothing happened to my son, did it? And he asked, can he come in? He kept asking, so I said, yeah. And then once he got in, he told me something happened. I was like, no, he's just hurt. He's not dead. I told him to go home and come back tomorrow and tell me that everything is okay, but you got the wrong person. Because it's not his time. It wasn't his time. The hardest time is, like if I see, somebody with their kids, or when we have family functions and, I see all my family members with their kids, it's kind of hard. I don't like looking at the news because it's hard too. Because I get so upset. I'm like, why didn't you just want to bring our kids home? You know, it's too many kids dying. And I get so hurt because I can't make another son. He was one of those kids that is like everybody wished they had a kid like him. Mannerable, respectful, never got in trouble, and he enjoyed life. He enjoyed life. So I'm angry because that was my buddy. And every time I get depressed, and when I talk to him, I'm okay. Because he was always the one that said, okay, Mom, it's going to be all right. No matter what it was, he would always be the one to calm me down. But now it's just me, my husband, and my daughter.
I'm Pat Moracek. I'm the mom of Sergeant Corey Ryan Moracek. I watch the news a lot, and the Saturday before this happened, they said that 3 from the 82nd had been killed. I was pretty much teary all day. And so on Tuesday, I hadn't heard on the news that there was 3 more that were killed. And I was working my second job at the nursing home. And about that time, the policeman walks in the door, and I just knew. A couple of the people from the nursing home offered to drive me home, but I just wanted to be alone. Because in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, maybe it's not so bad. He just felt that that's what he'd been trained for, and that's what he needed to do. He was a soldier, and we really need to take care of these things. Because he said that if we don't get them over there, they're going to get us here. We need to stop it, and I need to help. That's exactly what he thought. We sat out in the living room one day, and I said, I know you don't want to talk about this, but we need to. He just said, oh, Mom, nothing's going to happen. Just asked him if something did happen, what he would want us to do. If there was any special songs or anything. He just said he'd like to be buried at Arlington, and he didn't want the VFW guys there. He wanted his own airborne guys to come. That was it. They had time to move those weapons, and gosh, they have so much sand over there. If they buried them in the sand and the sandstorm changed the scenery, they might not even know where they're at. But I think they're going to find something. I believe they will. And if they don't, sometimes you just need to believe that you're not going to see everything in life. You just need to believe sometimes. Very lot of smart people in the United States, and they weren't all wrong. I don't care if they found them or not. They're not all wrong. And even that prison abuse thing. I mean, my God, they did things to him, but they didn't really abuse him. You know, I wish my son had been at that prison and he just had underwear over his head or whatever it was, because he'd be coming home. His things came home, and I should give him away or do something with him, but I just keep thinking he's going to come home someday and want him. And he's not.
When he would call me and he was in Iraq, I'd always tell him how proud I was of him. I was proud to be his mom. I was proud of the man he became. He said, Mama, promise me you'll never let my little brothers and my little sisters go. He said, that's why I'm here doing this. So my little brothers and my sisters won't see this firsthand. He said, I'm doing it. I promised him I wouldn't let him go. 2 days before I got the message that he passed away, I felt something was wrong. I could feel it. I began to pray, Lord, whatever it is he's going through right now, watch over him and keep him safe. It was just a feeling way down deep that you know something's wrong somewhere. And I could feel it. My heart was just heavy. 4 doors opened in unison and 4 officers stepped out. I said, what's the matter? Where's my baby? Master Sergeant looked at me. He said, we're here to tell you your son was killed in battle this morning. I knew when I seen him what was the matter. They told me that he was advancing on this farmhouse, and one Marine went in and went down, another went in and went down. When Josh seen that second man go down, they said that he ran from the group and drew fire towards him so the wounded could get out, and the gunfire stopped. They got the wounded out, but my son lost his life. The day of his funeral is the saddest day of my life. I'll never get to hear him say Mom again. It's made me hate a country I know nothing about. It's a constant heartache that nobody can say or do anything to make me feel any better. But I know he's in God's hands now. And that ease the pain, the loneliness. I ain't got over it. I don't know if I'll ever get over it. I heard the ship that he was on is due back in tomorrow. It should be a happy time for us. We should be excited because he should be coming home.
I was really shocked that he made it through boot camp.
And being as gentle and quiet as he was very sensitive. And after 9/11, he decided he wanted to join the Guards again. So he talked to me about it for quite a while one day. He ended up as a tank mechanic. He found that quite interesting.
He cherished his family and he loves his kids. And it was hard for him to leave them.
I think the hardest thing over there was all the little kids that were in there begging for water and food, and they couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't stop. That really bothered him. He wouldn't tell us a lot in detail what it was like over there because he said he didn't want to worry his mother and his wife. The last time I talked to him, we were painting his house.
And he just said, I love you, and I told him I loved him too, and to see him later, because he was saying he'd be home in December.
I was at work out in the shop, and one of the guys came out and said, there's a couple guys from the Guards out in the lunchroom to see you. I got about halfway there and I realized what it probably was. When I got in the lunchroom, it wasn't anybody I knew, so. And when they told me, it takes the wind out of you and takes the legs out from underneath you when you get that news. The whole community, they were great. It was amazing how many people would stop by to say hi or bring something down.
I miss him, but he'll always be in my heart, in my memories. And I am very proud of him, very proud of him.
I'm Peter Dooley. I'm Mark's father.
My name is Marion Dooley. Mark is our son that was killed in Iraq. Very young, Mark believed that right and wrong was important. He always had a strong value that whatever you do for one person, it should be fair for all people. I believe that Mark took his values with him, definitely, into the war. He felt he was keeping the terrorists from our country, from the other countries around the world, and from harming the people where they were. The explosion that killed Mark occurred instantly. 1 second he was here on earth, and the next minute with God.
I'm sure looking down from heaven, he would look at this and just swell with pride at all the people out there who knew him and loved him and honored him and what he tried to achieve. We had come back from the funeral, and we had just returned on a Monday night, and I played the messages on the machine, and this was the first one I came across.
Saturday, 5:08 p.m.
Hey guys, me. Sorry I missed you. Quarter for 1 year, so I don't know if that is there. But anyways, just going some work, so he's going. Things are going good. Boys are well. Anyways, love you both, and I'll call you again soon. Okay.
Mark wrote a letter called In My Absence, and he said that should he not return, this would be what we were to open. Mom, I have no delusions that reading or even hearing this letter can fill my absence. Please forgive me for not being able to be there, but also remember that my leaving was in the service of something that we loved. Don't be angry or let sadness dominate your heart. Be proud. Time will ease the pain, and the best way to pay respect is to value why a sacrifice was made. My last request is that you continue to live fulfilling, happy lives with God's hands holding you safely. I will see you all in God's perfect time. With loving affection and endearment, Mark.
I really do believe in love at first sight. I really do believe in soulmates. At a young age, I experienced it. He always liked the military, like ever since we were 18, but I always said, no, 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 no. After 9/11, that's what really pushed him. He felt like it was his duty as an American to try to do something. I still remember those two men ringing my doorbell, and my mother-in-law looked out the window and she said, there's two guys in military uniform outside asking for you. When I go answer the door and I see the guy's eyes, I never forget them. I remember telling him, please just tell me that he's hurt. Please don't tell me. It's like no tears came out, and I was just in like a state of shock. I kept on screaming, why did they take him from me? Why is this happening to me? I kept on screaming it on and on. I remember that night, I just couldn't sleep because I looked at the side of my bed and it felt so empty, his side. I never thought I'd be a single mom. And I'm gonna have to like raise my sons, Manny and Marcus, all alone, and that hurts me so much. And I know that's something that he never wanted for his boys because he was raised in a single mom environment. He wanted to be there, for graduations and birthdays and holidays. Now I'm gonna have to experience that all on my own. My 4-year-old, he comes and he tells me, Mom, Daddy's in heaven. He's gone. He's like, do you still love Daddy? And I said, always. He goes, I love him too. As a parent, you wish you could give your boys everything. And sometimes I wish so much that I could just bring their father back. Right now it's so hard because I have to deal with the reality that I'll never ever see him again.